Okay, today we will discuss about a reagent called lithium diisopropyl amide. So usually this is called as LDA, and it will have a structure like this. What you can observe, so this group is called isopropyl group. This also isopropyl group, diisopropyl uh, lithium amide. Okay, so lithium diisopropyl amide is the name of this compound. So what you can observe, I think you can observe that two bulky groups. Of course, these two also bulky group. So what we can say that it's a strong base. Okay, I think you are aware about what is base. Sodium hydroxide is also a base. Potassium hydroxide is also a base. Similarly, LDA is also a base. But what is the difference between the sodium hydroxide and LDA? So LDA, so sodium hydroxide can act as a nucleophile, whereas the LDA does not act as a nucleophile. That is the difference between the LDA and sodium hydroxide. So LDA will act as a strong base, but not the nucleophile. That is the thing you need to remember. LDA is a strong base, but not the nucleophile. Whereas, sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, they are base as well as uh, nucleophiles. Okay, so that difference you need to remember. Right. So now, uh, okay, and one more thing. Usually, this LDA does not react with even it does not replace the alkyl halide. It does not replace the tosylate. Even it does not react with the aldehydes or ketone. So that means it's not a nucleophile at all. It's only a strong base. It only what it will do, it will only capture the proton. So which proton it can capture? It can capture acidic proton. More particularly, it can also capture a proton of active methylene group. So these are the information you need to remember about the LDA. So with this, I will take one example. Look here. So this compound is called alene, and these protons are acidic in nature. So this proton can be captured by LDA. So that means diisopropyl amine is the byproduct, and lithium will sit over here because anion is forming. No, that is the reason lithium will sit over here. That's what I have written here. So that means one of the proton is taken by LDA. How it will take? Diisopropylamine is the living group. Diisopropylamine taking proton and going out, and a lithium will sit as a anion. So this is the lithium alene compound. So that what it means, it forms a anion. Similarly, LDA can also react with protons present in a carbonyl compounds. Of course, you know that these protons are called acidic protons. This proton can be captured by LDA. Once LDA is captures this proton, there will be a anion formation like this. And again, anion formed one, it won't be as such. It will be moved. How it will move? It will form a enolate. How the enolate is formed? How the enolate is formed? So enolate, it will form. Okay, so look here, this bond pair is coming over here, and this bond pair uh, will take up this lithium. So this is how the enolate is formed. Enolate, hene means double bond. O oxygen forms a salt. That is the reason this moiety is called enolate. And these two are in equilibrium one. And we can say that these two are canonical form or resonance form. So you should remember that carbonyl compounds, when it is react with the diisopropyl amine, lithium diisopropyl amine, it will form a enolate. So enolate means this. Okay, that's what you need to remember. So with this, Let's maybe in the next slide we will discuss what is the fate of enolate. What will enolate? What it will do? Okay, so that's what we will discuss in the next class, the next slide. So I will go to the next one. So here also I am taking a different carbonyl compound. So you can observe that this carbon is called alpha carbon, and what we can say that alpha hydrogen containing carbonyl compounds. Alpha hydrogen containing carbonyl compounds when it is react with the lithium diisopropyl amide. So its role is only to capture up this proton. Once the LDA captures this proton, there will be a formation of anion. This formed anion can convert into a enolate. How it will convert? This bond pair is coming over here. This bond pair picks up this lithium. So that is how enolate is formed. And enolate plus this is a byproduct. What is the name of this product? Diisopropyl. This group is called isopropyl. This group also called isopropyl. Diisopropylamine is the byproduct. So again, in this slide also I have discussed about a carbonyl compound, more particularly alpha hydrogen containing carbonyl compound. When it is react with LDA, it forms a enolate. So with this, I will go to the next slide. This is the previous one and this is the present one. I will go to the next slide. Here you can observe that two different kind of proton. This is one acidic proton, and of course this is also a acidic proton. How you can non-equivalent protons? Well, how you can differentiate these two? This is called is methane proton, METHYNE, methane proton, and this proton is called methyl proton. Methyl proton, methane proton. Methane, you aware about this was the hybridization. This is sp hybridization. So as we go from sp to sp, the S character is more. Okay, so because of that acidity also more. So this proton is more acidic compared to this one. But suppose a non-equivalent proton containing carbonyl compound, when it is treated with the base, what is the base used one here? What is called sodium ethoxide. Sodium ethoxide is also a strong base. How you will get sodium ethoxide? So take a small piece of sodium, so that you can add into a ethanol. There will be a formation of sodium ethoxide. So this sodium ethoxide selectively captures this proton because this one is more acidic. So that is how a anion is formed. What it means? A non-equivalent proton containing carbonyl compound, when it is treated with a strong base such as sodium ethoxide, it only captures the methane proton, forming a anion. Suppose a non-equivalent containing carbonyl compound, if it is treated with more quantity, means 2 equivalent of lithium diisopropylamide, what it will do? It will capture proton, methane proton. It also captures methyl proton. So that is how it leads to a formation of dilithium dianion compound. So what it means? It means that it is a strong base compared to ethoxide also. That's what I need to mention. So here one anion, here one anion, there one anion. Two anion is formed. Once the two anion is formed, this bond pair can come over here. This can picks up this lithium. Similarly, this bond pair can come over here. This can picks up this lithium. So these two are the canonical form, and this one is called the enolate dianion. Enolate dianion. This is only a dianion. So this is monoanion. This is the difference you need to remember. Okay. So LDA speciality means it will also capture a methyl proton. It will also capture a methane proton. That is the speciality about LDA. Whereas sodium methoxide or ethoxide anion, it only captures more acidic proton. So that is the difference you need to remember from this slide. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So this is the previous only, and this is the present one only. I will go to the next one, and this is the one. So here also I'm mentioning a non-equivalent proton. How the non-equivalent proton? So you can observe that this proton is called methine, M-E-T-H-Y-N-E, methine proton, and this proton is called methylene proton, M-E-T-H-Y-L-E-N-E, methylene proton. So this is more acidic compared to this methylene proton. Suppose this methylene non-equivalent proton carbonyl compound, when it is treated with base, the base may be a regular sodium methoxide or a potassium hydroxide. So what will happen? So you can observe that this proton, if suppose this space is captures this proton, then this bond pair is coming over. Then this bond pair is coming over. Okay. So if this proton is captured by base, then there will be a anion formation like this. So this proton means it's a methylene proton. Suppose a base, if it is captures this proton, methine proton, then there will be a anion formation like this. So what will happen once there is a anion formation? This bond pair can come over here. This bond pair will sit on this oxygen. So that means that is how a compound, a enolate is formed. What is the name of this enolate? That's important. Let's give an entry. Okay. So what is the name of this enolate? This enolate is more stable. Why it is more stable? Because it's thermodynamically favored or thermodynamically controlled one. So why it is thermodynamically controlled? Because this is a methine proton. This is the methine proton. This proton is more acidic, and base can capture this. So there is anion formation like this, and thermodynamically controlled enolate is obtained. Suppose a methine proton is captured by a base, then there will be anion formation like this, and bond pair can come over here, and this bond pair will sit on the oxygen. So this here also there is a formation of anion. So what it means? Anion formation between the loss of methylene proton is this, and this enolate is called least stable one, but this enolate is kinetically controlled. So in this slide, you need to remember that suppose a proton, okay, a methylene proton is lost, and there will be an anion formation, and there will be a enolate formation, then such compound is called kinetically favored or kinetically controlled one. Suppose a methine proton is lost and a double bond. Maybe what you can observe, so this double bond is less hindered, whereas this double bond is more hindered. Okay, with respect to the double bond. So with respect, so that means more hindered double bond, more hindered enolate is thermodynamically controlled one. Less hindered enolate is kinetically controlled one. So these two are you need to remember, because next onwards I will mention about thermodynamically controlled enolate and kinetically controlled enolate. So I will explain here itself. Suppose if you are using LDA, okay, LDA it's only favors the kinetically favored enolate, And other than LDA means sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, ethoxide, propoxide, butoxide, whatever it is. All those bases favors thermodynamically favored one. So this difference you need to remember. So LDA favors kinetically favored base, and the other than LDA favors thermodynamically favored enolate. This much you need to remember. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So next slide here also, what I will do, I will also take, yes. So here I'm taking LDA, and I'm only explaining about with LDA, a kinetically favored enolate is obtained. That's what I'm explaining now. So 2-methyl cyclohexanone, otherwise alpha methyl cyclohexanone. Alpha methyl cyclohexanone, when it is treated with LDA, more particularly in polar aprotic solvent, it gives kinetic enolate. Okay, so that's what I'm explaining in this slide. What, and one more thing also you can observe that here also proton is there. This proton is methane proton, and this proton is methylene proton. Capture of methylene proton by LDA leads to the formation of kinetic enolate. That's what you need to remember. So with this, I will go to the next slide. Then let's look into the application of this enolates. Okay, I will go to the next slide. So what the enolates are ambient nucleophiles. Enolate ions are ambient nucleophile. Why these are ambient nucleophile? Because anion is formed with the carbonyl compound. So that means there will be a formation of a new carbon-carbon bond formation between this carbon and another electrophilic carbon. And similarly, a enolate is formed. No? So here also there is a possibility of forming bond between this oxygen and other electrophile. So because of these what is called two canonical forms of the enolate ion, the enolate ions are ambient nucleophile. That is the one more thing, one more important point with respect to the enolate you need to remember. Then silylation. So maybe in the next stage I am also talking about the selenation, S-E-L-E, selenation. But here I am talking about a silylation. Silylation means addition of Si bond. It means that there will be a bond formation between the carbon and Si is called silylation. And suppose if there is a bond formation between the carbon and Se, Se is called selenium, Si is called silicon. So if there is a bond formation between the carbon and the silicon is called silylation. So like how you know carbonation, alkylation, acylation, bromination. So that means you are adding bromine to the substrate, but here you are adding silicon to the substrate. So here what is a substrate? Substrate is a acetone. Acetone when it is treated with base, but here the base is lithium LDA. LDA means lithium diisopropyl amide. So what will happen here? So there will be a capture of this proton and forming a anion. So once there is a anion is formed, it will be in equilibrium with enolate. So this is the enolate. So this is the enolate form. This is a carbanion form. And what will happen? Suppose a enolate is treated with trimethyl silyl chloride. So name of this compound is called trimethyl silyl chloride. This is one electrode. Maybe to itself we discuss about the uh, role application preparation of trimethyl chloride, maybe after the LDA. So what will happen? There will be a new bond formation between the oxygen and silicon. Okay, so the product is enol. This is double bond, no? Enol. Silyl ether. Okay, enol silyl ether is the name of this compound. So this enol silyl ether compound finds a very good application in organic synthesis that I will explain in the next slide. So overall, in this slide, I'm explaining about the ambiguity, means ambient nucleophilic nature, and also I am explaining about the formation of enolate, and that enolate, when it is treated with the trimethylsilyl chloride, it leads to the formation of silylation. So the bond formation between the oxygen and silicon is called silylation. The obtained compound is called enol silyl ether. Enol silyl ether. So this is about the how the silylation occurs and the name of the silylated product. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So next slide, here also I am explaining. You need to remember that. Suppose, so this is the one non-equivalent proton containing compound. What is the name of this compound? So 2-methyl cyclohexanone. So 2-methyl cyclohexanone, when it is treated with LDA, as I mentioned, treated with LDA followed by trimethylsilyl chloride. When it is treated with LDA, what it will do, LDA, it will capture a proton here and forms an anion. That anion can come over here and this can pick up a lithium. Then there will be a new bond formation between this oxygen and this silicon. So that is how 99% compound, a kinetically favored, kinetically enolate formed favored product. This is the one. Suppose instead of LDA, if you are using sodium hydride also base, but what it will do, it will leads to the formation of thermodynamically favored enolate. Thermodynamically favored enolate, when it is react with the trimethylsilyl chloride, it leads to the formation of a thermodynamically favored product. So, but only the 73% product. But here, this is the 27% product. So this is about the selectivity. Okay, that means LDA, when it is treated with LDA, it selectively gives 99% kinetically favored product. When it is treated with sodium hydride, it only gives 73% thermodynamically favored product. That so many a times they ask about predict the product and write the predict the product for the following. So they used to give this compound and they used to mention these two reagents and they will mark a question mark. So many a time they ask the question on this particular one. You need to remember. Oh, what you need to remember? So suppose if there is a capture of this proton is called kinetically favored one, and that is possible only with the LDA. Suppose if there is a capture of this proton and that is possible only with other than LDA. That's what you need to remember. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So here I'm taking example. So what is the application I'm taking? So enolate application. So what and all the enolate application? So of course, this is a alpha methyl cyclohexanone or 2-methyl cyclohexanone. When it is treated with LDA, it forms a enolate, lithium enolate. Suppose this lithium enolate, when it is treated with the electrophile. So what is electrophile? Electron deficient one. Suppose if you are taking methyl iodide, what it will do? The bond pair between the oxygen and lithium will come over here, and this bond pair attack this methyl and lithium iodide is living group, and the obtained compound is alkylated one. What it means? Suppose a carbonyl compound, okay, a carbonyl compound on reaction with LDA and methyl iodide, it gives what is called as 2,6 dimethyl cyclohexanone. What it means? It is possible to make a carbon-carbon bond formation at the alpha position to the carbonyl compound. So this is an application of enolate, more particularly a LDA application. Suppose instead of taking methyl iodide, if we are taking a propargyl bromide, prenyl bromide, Prenyl, prenyl bromide. Name of this compound is called prenyl bromide, trivial name. But of course, you can also name it as per the IUPAC. IUPAC means 1, 2, 3. Okay, bromopropene. Bromopropene is the IUPAC name. So what will happen? Again, this bond pair can come over here. This bond pair can attack this carbon. Otherwise, if this bond pair is attacking this carbon, means this bonded pair is moves over here and Br will go out. So lithium bromide is the living group. So there will be a new carbon-carbon bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. So that is how a direct alkylation is occurred. And one more thing, so benzyl bromide. Benzyl bromide means C6H5CH2Br is called benzyl bromide. So what will happen? Benzyl bromide, when it is treated with lithium enolate, again this bond pair can come over here. This bond pair will attack the CH2 group of benzyl. So that is how a product is obtained. So this is about direct alkylation. So this is about direct alkylation. Okay. Okay. The application of enolate in direct alkylation. So one more, suppose instead of taking methyl iodide, you can also take acetic anhydride. Then there will be a possibility of forming here acetyl group, COCH3 group. So this electrophile can be changed. And what is the important thing? Best results, okay? Best alkylated success alkylation occurs with primary alcohol, primary alkyl halides, okay, and benzyl halides. So benzyl halides and alkyl halides will give you the successful carbon-carbon bond formation. That's what the thing you need to remember as per the experiential learning. Means practical, based on the practical, yields alkyl halides and primary alkyl halides and benzyl halides gives better yield compared to the other electrophiles. That's what you need to remember. So now with this, I will go to the next slide. I think you are aware about aldol condensation. What is aldol condensation? A reaction of alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compounds when it is not only alpha beta unsaturated, more particularly alpha hydrogen containing carbonyl compounds, when it is treated with the base, it will give you hydroxy, more particularly beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. This is only a aldol reaction. So aldol reaction means you can observe that this carbon is called alpha carbon. This hydrogen is called alpha hydrogen. Alpha hydrogen containing carbonyl compound, when it is treated with base, it gives beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. Of course, this is also a beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. What you can observe? So here, I think this is the base. This can capture a proton. Once there is a formation, once there is a capture of this proton, there will be a formation of anion. So once there is a formation of ion, the bond can move over here and this can picks up a proton. So that is how enolate is obtained. Okay, and one more possibility is also there. Okay, if there is a capture of this proton, this enolate is obtained. Suppose a sodium hydroxide captures this proton. What is the difference between this and this? So this one is capturing of this proton is the kinetically favored one. Capturing of this proton is the thermodynamically favored one. Okay, this is kinetically favored one and this is thermodynamically favored one. Of course, with sodium hydroxide, thermodynamically favored one is the major product. With LDA, kinetically favored enolate formation is the major one. That's what you need to remember. Once there is a formation of enolate, then what will happen if we are treating with an electrophile? Here, what is electrophile? It's a carbon electrophile. What is the name of this carbon electrophile? It's acetaldehyde. How the enolate will react? This bond pair can come over here. There will be a new bond formation between this carbon, and this can picks up a sodium, and later on hydrolysis gives rise to beta hydroxy carbonyl compound. Similarly, this bond pair can come over here and this can react with this bond. So that is how two different products are obtained. Okay, so this is about aldol condensation. So what we will do now, we will take up with the LDA and we'll go for a aldol type of reaction. So our LDA, you know that LDA selectively forms kinetically favored one. So that means you will get more product, more particularly the via kinetically favored enolate one. Okay, so I will go to the next slide. So this is the one. So LDA, a carbonyl compound. Okay, and this is the kinetically favored one. LDA captures this proton and kinetically favored enolate is obtained, and this bond pair can come over here and this will attack this carbon. So that is how beta hydroxy, this position is called beta hydroxy ketone. Only one product is obtained here. So whereas in the sodium hydroxide, it leads to the two products are obtained, but here only one product is obtained. That is about the application of LDA. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So here I am talking about the selenation. Selenation means addition of Se. So Se is called selenium metal. Okay, so that means here there will be a new bond formation between the carbon and selenium. Okay, that's called selenation, where alpha position carbonyl, if this is the carbonyl group, means this carbon is called alpha carbon. And you know that LDA, when it is treated with LDA, there will be an anion formation, and that anion can come over here and gives a enolate. So this is the enolate. What is the name of this enolate? Kinetically favored enolate. Suppose this other base other than LDA that can capture this form, and there will be a formation of double bond here. That's called thermodynamically favored one. But LDA, it only forms kinetically favored enolate. Once there is a enolate is formed, this bond pair can come over here and there will be a new bond formation between this carbon and selenium. So what is the name of this compound? Phenyl selenyl bromide. So in this Br with living group, it will go and there will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this selenium. So that is how the compound is obtained. What is the name of this compound? So this group is called selenyl group. Selenyl ketone is the common name, trivial name. So trivial name or common name of this compound is called selenyl ketone. What it means? It means that a alpha, what you call carbonyl compounds, when it is react with LDA, it forms an enolate. That enolate can react with the selenium electrophile, and thereby it leads to a formation of selenyl ketone. So then what is the fate of selenyl ketone? Suppose this selenyl ketone, when it is oxidized, more particularly oxidation with hydrogen peroxide. So what will happen? Hydrogen peroxide. So you know that selenium gets converted into selenium oxide. That selenium oxide, okay, I'm talking about the mechanism. This is the product. So I will explain how this selenyl ketone converts into alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So the role of hydrogen peroxide is oxidizes. Oxidation means addition of oxygen in this process. Okay, so oxygen is added to selenium. So that is how selenyl oxide is obtained. Once there is a selenyl oxide is obtained, this anion can capture this proton. This bond pair can come over here, and this bond pair will neutralizes the positive charge. That means selenic acid. Selenic acid is the byproduct. Alpha beta unsaturated is the main product. So this is about the how a methyl cyclohexanone is converted into alpha beta methyl means methyl alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So that means LDA followed by selenation gives rise to alpha beta unsaturated ketone. Okay, so here I am taking one more example. So you can observe that this is ethyl and this is phenyl. Ethyl phenyl ketone. Ethyl phenyl ketone is a trivial name. Of course, here you can observe that this is the alpha hydrogen. So you know that this alpha hydrogen can, again, here two things are important. What you can do based on this, you can write the mechanism for the conversion of this ethyl phenyl ketone to alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So these are the reagent. LDA, it capture a proton. Okay, and then after capturing a proton, that was treated with phenylselenyl bromide. So that means it leads to a formation of selenyl ketone. That selenyl ketone, when it is treated with hydrogen peroxide, it gives you alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So you take it as a maybe homework. You can write the mechanism for conversion of this moiety into this. So this follows this particular reaction. So initially there will be a formation of enolate, and then that enolate, when it is react with phenyl bromide, this is the phenylselenyl bromide, it leads to selenyl ketone. That selenyl ketone, when it is treated with hydrogen peroxide, it will give you alpha beta unsaturated ketone. But what is the difference between the this is a methyl ketone. Instead of methyl ketone, you have to take ethyl phenyl ketone as the starting material and write the mechanism. And of course, I have written a product. So this is about what is called as application of LDA in selenation, and thereby it leads to formation of alpha beta unsaturated uh, ketones. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So this is over. So here I am taking a few examples. Okay. More particularly, direct alkylation examples I am taking. So you know that this proton is acidic proton. This proton, when it is treated with LDA, there will be a formation of anion. That anion react with the electrophile called R. X is going out. So this is the direct alkylated product is the compound. Similarly, what you can observe, this is the carboxylic ester group. Adjacent to this ester group, this carbon is alpha carbon. This proton is acidic in nature. This proton, when it is treated with LDA, there will be an anion formation. That anion react with the CH2, Br will go out, So that is how a direct alkylated product is obtained. Similarly, you can observe that this is a cyclic ketone, cyclic ester. This carbon is alpha carbon. This proton is alpha proton. There will be a anion formation, and there will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. So that is how a carbon-carbon bond formation is occurred. And similarly, LDA, so this is a base, captures this proton. There will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. So that is how a compound is obtained. Suppose this is treated with LDA. Okay, LDA followed by methyl iodide. So then there will be a formation of this product. Here, first step is LDA and the second step is methyl iodide. So then there is a product formation like this. And similarly, you can also observe that this proton is acidic in nature. So when it is treated with LDA, there will be anion formation. There will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this CH2. So that is how a direct alkylated product is obtained. Okay. So here I'm giving few questions. Maybe you can take a screenshot and write down the product. Okay, here you need to write the product. Here also you need to write the product. This also you need to write the product. Here also product. These two, here also product, here also product, this also a product. But here also you need to write the mechanism. So in these two cases, you need to write the mechanism. Take a screenshot and write the product. And in these two, you need to write the mechanism also. So now tell me, is there any doubt in LDA? Hello? 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 Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Then if that is the case, I will take one more reagent. Okay, I can continue for another 30 minutes, no? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So I will maybe I will change the slide. Means I will take the TMS chloride PPT. This I will stop sharing. Okay. Right. Okay. So trimethyl silyl chloride. So trimethyl silyl chloride is also called as TMS chloride. Of course, instead of chloride, one can take other halides also, bromide or iodide uh, uh, or fluoride. But normally fluoride is the costly one. Usually people won't go for that. Iodide is also a costly. So usually TMS chloride is more familiar. So silicon. So here S stands for silicon. Silicon is generally employed in organic synthesis in the form of a trialkyl silyl derivative. So you can give one example of trialkyl silyl derivative means it's a trimethyl silyl chloride is the example of trialkyl silyl uh, derivative. So since silicon forms a stronger bond with oxygen, okay, silicon will form a stronger bond with oxygen, and this silicon also form a stronger bond with fluoride. Okay, what it means? It means that silicon forms a strong bond with oxygen as well as fluoride compared to the carbon and hydrogen. Okay, that's what you need to remember. So that means silicon forms a very strong bond with the carbon and oxygen. 1 minute. Silicon forms a bond, very strong bond with oxygen and fluoride than carbon and hydrogen. That's what you need to remember. So common trialkyl silyl compounds are TMS chloride, means trimethyl silyl chloride, and then triethyl silyl chloride, and then triisopropyl silyl chloride. This one, triisopropyl silyl chloride. These are the few examples of trialkyl silyl compounds. So silicon is a more electropositive. That means if silicon is forming a bond with carbon, means silicon attains a positive charge, carbon attains a negative charge. Okay. So this is what I mentioned. Silicon attains a positive charge, carbon attains a negative charge. And then what is the usefulness? The usefulness of this trialkyl silyl compounds, okay, is important because it will form a bond with the oxygen. So what it means? It means that one can remove oxygen from the substrate. That is the application of these compounds. And one more thing, these silyl compounds also can be used as a protecting group for the oxygen. Okay. And one more thing, once the desired product is obtained, you can remove the protecting group by treating with fluoride. So that means TMS chloride can act as a protecting group, and that can be removed whenever it's required. This is about a little information about trimethyl silyl chloride. So with this, I will go to the next slide. So how one can prepare trimethyl silyl chloride? So trimethyl silyl chloride can be prepared starting with the tetrachlorosilicon. So name of this compound is tetrachlorosilicon, and then methyl magnesium iodide. What it means? So on reaction of tetrachlorosilicon and methyl magnesium iodide, that leads to the TMS chloride as the product. Otherwise, what we can say that TMS chloride is obtained by the reaction of silicon tetrachloride and methyl magnesium iodide. And this is the physical properties. TMS chloride is a volatile liquid that is stable in the absence of air. What it means? It means that TMS chloride is a liquid, but you should not keep the bottle open. Means the knob should airtight one. Okay, so that means you should not expose this TMS chloride to the atmosphere, because atmosphere contain moisture. That moisture can be captured by TMS chloride, and TMS chloride will destroy. How it will destroy? Here I am giving. Okay, TMS chloride, it can react with the water or moisture present in the atmosphere and can form a hexamethylene disiloxane. Hexamethylene. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexamethylene di. Okay, di. Si is there, no? Disiloxane is the byproduct formed by the TMS chloride when TMS chloride is exposed to moisture. Okay, this moisture may be present in the atmosphere, and here HCl is the byproduct. It's a gas, it will go out. So then what one can do, so that means one can do it, this particular TMS chloride, in presence of inert atmosphere. So what is inert atmosphere? If you are doing out a reaction in presence of argon or nitrogen, is called inert atmosphere. More particularly, if you are doing a reaction in argon atmosphere. So argon gas you need to purge to the container. What is the container? Container may be a beaker, container may be a RB flask, or container may be a conical flask. So in that, if we are purging argon atmosphere, if we are creating argon atmosphere, and then you need to add TMS chloride and the reactants. Okay, in that atmosphere, if we are carrying out a reaction, then TMS chloride is stable. Otherwise, it will convert into inactive hexamethylene disiloxane. So this is about a little more information about TMS chloride. And with this, I will go to the next slide. So here what you can TMS chloride is used for the protecting alcohols. It also used as a protecting group for amines and also thioalcohols. Thioalcohol means SH containing compounds are called thioalcohols. OH containing compounds are called alcohol. NH2 containing compounds are called amines. So here TMS chloride, it can react with the amine. What is the name of this compound? Its compound is pyrrole. So H and Cl will go out as a byproduct, and there will be a new bond formation between this nitrogen and this silicon. Now the nitrogen is protected. Okay. So after the protection, one can go for nitration or sulfonation or whatever the target compound to be prepared. Once the target is reached, then you can go for a deprotection. So deprotection, it is possible just by treating with the fluorides. So what is the fluoride? Fluoride may be one example I am telling, that's called tetra ammonium tetra butyl ammonium fluoride. Okay, tetra butyl ammonium fluoride, tetra TBAF. TBAF is the tetra butyl ammonium fluoride. So using that reagent, one can cleave the bond between the nitrogen and silicon. Okay, this is about protection and deprotection of TMS chloride. So with this, I will take up one more. I think suppose if we are taking an alcohol, so this is an alcohol, more particularly ethyl alcohol. Ethyl alcohol also can be treated with TMS chloride. There will be a new bond formation between this oxygen and sulfur. So why there is a new bond formation between the oxygen and the silicon? Because the bond formation between the oxygen and silicon is strong compared to the bond formation between the oxygen and hydrogen and oxygen and carbon. So that is the reason this is the favored product. And what is the order? Okay, order of reactivity of the alcohol towards the TMS chloride. Primary alcohol is more reactive compared to the secondary. Secondary alcohol is more reactive compared to the tertiary with respect to the TMS chloride with alcohol. And the deprotection can be achieved by using tetrabutyl ammonium fluoride. So what it means? It means that here there is a fluoride. That fluoride, it will form a bond with silicon and there will be a breakage. This is about protection and deprotection of TMS chloride. So now I will go to the next slide. Okay. So here I am talking about the conversion of enolate silyl enol ether. So previously I mentioned that this carbon is called alpha carbon, this proton is called alpha proton. So in presence of base, there will be a carbanion formation. That carbanion can be converted into enolate. So once there is a enolate is formed, there will be a new bond formation between this oxygen and silicon if this enolate is treated with trimethyl silyl chloride. So that is how silyl, okay, this group is called silyl, and enol, double bond means en, ol means all, enol ether, okay. So name of this compound is called silyl enol ether, okay, is the name of this compound. Okay, so with this I will go to the next slide. So the obtained silyl enol ether, there will be a new bond formation. How the new bond formation? The bond can come over here and this can form a new bond with the electrophile. So this is possible in presence of base and hydrolysis. So with base, what will happen? There will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. On hydrolysis, where hydrolysis, silicon will go out and also this can pick up a proton. So what is the product is obtained? Again, you can observe that this carbon is alpha, this carbon is beta. So what it means? So it means that aldol condensation reactions can be carried out by using TMS protected enol ethers. So this is a aldol product. Okay. So with this, I will take one more example. So look here, previously I discussed about this. So kinetically favored one, thermodynamically favored one. When you are using LDA, you will get only the kinetically favored one and this will be the major product. But this will be the very minor product. That means maybe 1% and this will be the 99%. So because of this example only, I took LDA as the first priority and then I am discussing the TMS chloride. So now with this, I will go to the next slide. So cleavage, okay, this is important. Many times they ask the question on this. Write the mechanism for the cleavage of ether when you are using TMS chloride as the reagent. Otherwise, how the TMS chloride is useful in the cleavage of ether, write the mechanism. So this is the ether. So you know that lone pair are present on the oxygen, two lone pair. This is one lone pair, this is another lone pair. So what will happen? Lone pair or this bond pair. Usually lone pair, it will form a bond with the silicon. Sometimes they will ask you why there is a new bond formation between the silicon and oxygen. Explain. So that time you need to mention that the bond formation between the silicon and oxygen is favored because the bond between the oxygen and silicon is more strong compared to the silicon and carbon, silicon and hydrogen. That you need to mention. Because of strong bond formation, oxygen and silicon, chloride will go out as a living group. It won't go alone. What it will do? This anion capture this R group. Why it is capturing this R group? Because this bond is weak. Why this bond is weak? Because oxygen attains a positive. Why oxygen attains a positive? Because the lone pair are used in a bond formation. So this bond pair will convert as a lone pair. That means RCl is the living group. So this is the obtained one. Again, this compound treated with TBAF. What is TBAF? Tetrabutyl ammonium fluoride. Even if we are not using tetrabutyl ammonium fluoride also, so what can one more equivalent of TMS can react here and there will be a cleavage like this, alcohol and TMS chloride. So TB, here the reagent used, what is that? TBAF. What is TBAF? Tetrabutyl ammonium fluoride. It will act as a source of fluoride. That fluoride react with this silicon and this bond breaks and picks up a proton from the water. That is how alcohol and a byproduct. What is the name of this byproduct? TMS chloride is obtained. This is about cleavage of ether. So one more name reaction I am discussing now. I think you are aware about maybe here you can make L as a silent, Eyre-Claisen rearrangement. So what is this rearrangement? You can observe that this is 1, 2, 3. You can also observe that 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what it means? So in presence of LDA and the sodium hydroxide, in presence of LDA and the TMS chloride, followed by hydrolysis. So what you will get? You can observe that this is a ester group, but here what is there? Acid group is there. Okay, how there is a bond formation? Look here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There will be a 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. What is 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement? I will explain in the mechanism. So at this moment, what I can tell you, there will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this carbon. Okay. Otherwise, what I can say that LDA can capture a proton here. So once there is a LDA captures this proton, that anion can come over here, and this bond pair can picks up a lithium, and later on that lithium is replaced by TMS. Then afterwards, what will happen? This double bond is there, no? Here the formed double bond, enolate double bond. That double bond can come over here, and there will be a new bond formation between this carbon and this carbon, and this bond pair can come over here. So this is called 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. So what is obtained? So this is a carboxylic acid. This carbon is called alpha carbon. This carbon is called beta carbon. This carbon is called gamma carbon. This carbon is called delta carbon. What it means? Gamma delta unsaturated. Gamma delta unsaturated means double bond, and this is a carboxylic acid. So it means that allyl ether. So this group, okay, CH2, CH double bond CH2 is called allyl group, and this is ether. So allyl ether compounds on treatment with LDA and TMS chloride followed by hydrolysis gives gamma delta unsaturated carboxylic acid. So this mechanism we will explain in the next slide. So this is the one. So you know that this carbon is alpha carbon, and this is a kinetically favored one, LDA. So there will be a new bond for this diisopropylamine capture this proton. There will be anion formation here, and this bond pair can come over here, and this bond pair lithium will coming over here, and there will be a new bond formation between this oxygen and silicon. So that is how obtained. Now this transformation, electron transformation, is called 3,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. Okay, maybe in the next semester you are going to learn about the pericyclic reactions. So under that pericyclic reaction, you will learn about 3,3 sigma tropic, 2,3 sigma tropic, 1,2 sigma tropic, 1,2 migration, 1,2 rearrangement, Diels order reaction, photochemical favored, thermodynamically favored. All those things you will learn in the next semester. But at this moment, 3,3 means 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that means there will be a new bond formation between 3, 3. How it will form? This bond pair forming a new bond, this bond pair coming over here, this bond pair coming over here. So that is how an intermediate is obtained, and there will be hydrolysis, and the gamma delta unsaturated carboxylic acid is obtained. Okay, so this is about what is called as TMS chloride. So we discussed about how the TMS chloride is formed, and we also discussed about the silent features of the TMS chloride, and also we discussed about its application more particularly in the protection of alcohols, protection of amines, and also we discussed about the selenation, with the LDA as the reagent. And also we discussed about name reaction that involves 3,3 sigmatropic rearrangement. Now tell me, is there any doubt? If there are no doubt means you can log out. Any doubt? Okay.